All right, we are headed out. Been scoping out a spot to paint. Again, nice, simple painting. Some vertical uprights, trees, nice beautiful fields, sun behind it, backlit. So we'll take a look. But I think it's gonna look hot. I saw it yesterday and I was like, dang, I think this is gonna be sweet. Beautiful morning, the sun, no clouds in the sky, not that I'm anti-cloud. Those look nice too, but this is just a nice, beautiful morning for painting. And it's fresh, the mind is clear. So this is gonna be great, this is gonna be totally awesome. We have a hot spot right up here that I've been scoping out. Oh yeah, right there. Look how beautiful those are backlit. These right here. Do either or. Nice. Pop the trunk. Let's see those upright verticals right there. And we have some right here. It's gonna be sweet. That's pretty hot too. Maybe need the umbrella. Umbrella's your friend. Really good friend, actually. Okay, all right, so what we are going to do is, remember, first get our shapes in and make them two-dimensional, flat, and make sure we have the right value and the right color that we're pleased with. Then after we have all that established, then we start to model form. Okay, so here we go. So first I'm gonna mix my puddles of paint. Dude, this is so beautiful here. Ah. All right, so here we go. We're gonna grab a little ultramarine for the trees, the upright trees right there. We're gonna grab a little ultramarine blue with cadmium yellow. And I remember I always start out dark, and these puddles are going to be tweaked all throughout the painting. So I'll do the puddles and I'll mix and bend to different values, different, you know, but I'm just getting the basic general stuff. So for example, the sky, okay? So there's the sky. I'm gonna put in, boy, it is very light. So I'm just gonna put a little bit. That's too dark right there. But I can add some white, no big deal. Right there. I swear anywhere I go to paint, everyone, their dog has to drive down the road. But this land is your land, this land is mine. So it's everybody's, no big deal. All right, so now we want to do the flat plane. We're gonna do cadmium yellow medium and white. I'm gonna stick a touch of Viridian in there just to give us the ground plane, okay? I'm gonna go a little bit darker, a little more chromatic. And again, remember from the video explaining definitions, when I say chromatic, we're just talking about how much color is in the actual color. So we don't want it grayed down in some cases. That would be more chromatic. And there are other times where we want it totally grayed down, and that would be less chromatic. You're not changing the color per se. In fact, most cases you're just changing the value. All right, so there's, I think we're good, actually. I think with these three puddles, we can jump into it. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do the, right here, there's a shadow being caused by these trees right here. Just gonna put that there. Okay, so I'm gonna use the number 4 brush. This is only a 6x8 canvas. And so I'm gonna use the number 4 brush. That's a big brush for this small little thing. Could you use bigger? Yes. Could you use smaller? Yes. Doesn't matter. And all right, here we go. So let's get our masses in first, 2-dimensional. I always go with the darkest thing. So I'm gonna go like so and put the trees. There are some trees right here. I'm gonna try to keep this as simple as possible. Okay, so I'll go back in and do sky holes. I think it's good to always start out with this few little tiny, see if I go like this, I can come back in over. I can come back in over the this dark area and put a sky hole in. But for right now, just so I'm not picking, going, okay, afterward, I'm gonna do that. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna put, I'm just doing this for myself right here. I'm gonna put a little, there's some of the, way back there. There's some of the horizon is right here. So I was just indicating that. You don't need to do it with green. But I was just kind of making a little mark for myself so that I could see it. Okay, sweetness. All right, let's go with the shadow right here. We're gonna come, oh yes. Dude, I love when I nail the value and the color. So there we go. All right. And remember, this is all 2-dimensional. This is so easy that if I cut this out on a piece of paper and said, you know, draw that, or if I drew this really simple, you could totally do it. And what I mean by cutting it out with a piece of paper is I could cut the shape out, all of us could, and just paste it on there. Just flat piece of paper, this color. Okay, you have to think, literally think 2-dimensional, okay? So awesome, here we go. We're gonna do, we are going to do ground plane or flat plane. Okay, and we're gonna go right there. Woo, that has a lot of yellow. A little too much. You don't want people to say, when they look at your painting, go, wow, yellow. Of course, unless that's what you're emphasizing, then you want all. Okay, a little more. Away. Shoot, dude. This is killer. We're killing it, my friends. Okay, now. And remember, do this thin when you're out here like this. Don't try to do these insanely thick paintings right off the bat unless you're really experienced. Because you can come out and do really thick paintings. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's no like canonical, you know, book that says thou shalt not do thick paintings outside. You can, but when you're starting out, man, that it will screw it will screw you up so bad, because your ability to manipulate the paint after it's thick gets a lot more difficult. But yeah, definitely one time try though. And I'm sure we'll do some too. So, all right, now let's put the mountains in the back. That's what I didn't mix up. A little violet. This is the one I always have to watch. I always have to tone it down a little bit Or else I go with like straight blue out of the background. In fact, I like to start, I'm the type that likes to start out gray and move up to light. And there are people who like the exact opposite, and that's cool too. I just feel I have more control. All right, now it's just nice little, there we go, right there. All right, now let's put the sky in and shoot, we should be pretty good here. I am going to change though right here, gray this down for the light side and for the dark side. We shall put a little cobalt blue in it with a little red. So now let's put the sky in. And there's some different opinions about putting things in that aren't there. I personally don't have a preference. There are times where I put things in that are not there, and it doesn't bother me at all. And then sometimes I look at it and go, you know, hey, I'm coming out to learn. If I'm just going to make something up, I can do that inside. Of course, you don't have the reference right here to kind of play off of, but either or. But I definitely do see these paintings as practice. I do not see them as a masterpiece. And you know, I could be wrong, but I think when most people come out, the first thing they think of is, oh God, I gotta do a masterpiece. And I think it really messes them up because, and I do it all the time, by the way, all the time. I'll go out and say, look, there's the Grand Canyon. I'm gonna paint the whole thing. You can't paint the whole Grand Canyon, okay? You can paint parts of it. So you have to be a little thoughtful, a little cognizant of what you are doing as far as how much you're taking in on your painting. How much you're trying to put in to one little bitty canvas. You can put a lot, but sometimes it's good just to put a little instead of a lot. All right, now I think I need to go lighter. So now I have this all flat, right? And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna make any adjustments I need to make still while it's flat, two-dimensional, okay? So, when I look at it, my ground plane is too dark. Way too dark. So So let's put a little of that. A little bit of that Viridian. Touchy that yellow though. All right, so let's see what we can do here. Remember, still flat. Because you'll be tempted at this point, once you have things covered, to go, hey, let's put that leaf in there. All right, there you go. Now I'm gonna put a few little holes in here. Make them different sizes. Don't make them all the same size. Okay. All right, now I think we're good to scoot on now, and go over something. Maybe do a little more light. I'm gonna still think flat, but I'm gonna do a few more. A few more shapes that are smaller, that indicate light. Okay, so I'm gonna first go over this, because this was just a wash. Right here, I'm gonna go over this again. This is totally backlit right there, so I'm actually gonna do it with a smaller brush, because I am right now, I'm doing a little bit of non-flat stuff by This is so fun. And you can come out here, you can listen to the birds. I'm hearing a lot of birds right now. Or you can stick some headphones on, maybe some classical music. Maybe you're a Megadeth person, that's cool too. Whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Yes. This is exactly what we're shooting for right here. So now we're going around the shape of the trees. We're just mixing a few edges up. And we'll put a few sky holes in, not a whole bunch. I'm not gonna do it right now, I can see it. And by the way, I do plan quite a bit, like in the sense that I mean, I don't go so far ahead that I'm not focused on what I'm doing, but everything is in preparation of what comes next almost. It's kind of an interesting concept, but it works, man. You have to look ahead a little bit, but also like be in the moment. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but that's the way to go. All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm gonna take the sky. This might look really interesting, but I'm gonna take the sky and I'm gonna go over some of the, oh, I want lighter right there. There we go. And go over some of the dark tree, backlit tree. Okay. Now, you're probably gonna think, this dude's crazy, what is he doing? I'm actually gonna go with the dark over the same spot. Don't fear, have no fear. By the way, that is a pretty solid principle. Don't freak out while you're out here or while you're painting, period. A lot of people do. It's like, oh, if I mess this up, you know what? You're gonna mess up. I mean, that just happens. I'm sure I've mentioned this on a previous video, but it's so funny when you think about how many people just go, oh yeah, you know, I have a paint, I teach high school, and and I got awesome students, man. Little shout out to the students, you guys rock. But I'm amazed at how many kids will come in their senior year and go, they see all the work and dude, we're good, okay? I'm actually not a landscape painter per se. I am an outdoor painter, but I also do portraits. So I'm not one-dimensional, I guess is what I'm saying, and neither are my students. That's my point in sharing that with you. But I'm amazed, they'll come in and they'll see these drawings that my students do, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, and they'll always say, I wish I would have taken this class. And I'm like, well, why didn't you? And dude, I am not telling you a fib here, literally. The majority of them say, oh, because I don't know how to paint. Like, dude, that's the whole point of the class, is to learn. If you literally, think of the logic behind that. If you literally only did things you knew how to do, you would have never walked. Okay, luckily you were a baby and we're just like, hey, I'm gonna walk. But if you use that philosophy, that idea, oh sweet mother, that looks good. If you use that philosophy when you were learning how to walk, like I said, you would have never done it because you didn't know how to do it right off the bat. So it's an odd thought to me. So come out, don't be afraid. People paralyzed by fear. And you want to know it? Nothing to fear. Ooh, now I'm doing it. I'm doing a little bit. Breaking this up. And I find that if you want to paint different shapes, don't do the brush the same way, like this, or like this. Go like this, then go like this, then go like this, then go like this, and then go wah, wah, wah. Don't do that, you'll knock the painting over. So anyway. Life is good. And by the way, when you're out here, you will eventually go, you'll do your thing, and then you'll go in, and sometimes you'll see things that you didn't see while you were out here. Because right here, you're dead focused on nailing the effect of light. and you only have it for so long. And so you can go in, and there, by the way, there's different philosophies on that. You can go in. There are some purists, and when I say purists, I'm not saying derogatory at all. It's totally what you want to do. You can go inside and look at it and monkey with it and kind of practice. But at the same time, there are some who like to, you know, this is it. And if you monkey with it inside, you're not a true outdoor painter, and that's cool too. I mean, whatever floats your boat. But I notice it doesn't matter, and most people that I've painted with, in fact, can't think of the exception. You see things later on when you go in, and you go, oh. And from my observation, that helps with memory, painting from memory, because you know, whether it's you paint from photographs, whatever it is, you're not. There is a certain amount of you'll get to where you paint. You paint based on memory, just because you don't have the information in front of you. You know, if you're a you know, a total only from life, you might not have the landscape in front of you. So I guess basically what I'm saying is don't get too hung up on things. Decide what it is that you want to do and do it. By the way, that's a great philosophy for life. All right, so now, ooh, there's one more thing. Now we're going to do a little of this action down here. There's these little tiny sprouts of these trees all right here, and they have a beautiful, they're pretty, really, really pretty. Man, that's pretty over there too. I can't help myself, I'm looking all over the place. Squirrel. Okay, now I'm going to put the light back here. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to start in the back right here. I want to do something. I'm going to put a little more violet/red back here. Yeah, I like that right there. here. And more variety up here. See, back there it can be straight, you know, simple. Up close you want some variety. All right, a little bit of there's a beautiful, bright, really bright weed. That's what it is, it's a weed. I had to pull a lot of weeds as a kid, man. I didn't think there's nothing beautiful about them. But now that I paint them, sometimes you get a beautiful weed. Okay, now we are going to, in the shadow, put a little more just bring the two together a little bit to where they're not. And we're doing that by putting some of the same colors in the shadow, of course, that are in the light. Now, towards the edges, at least where I'm seeing from right here, towards the edges of the shadow, I'm actually seeing it pretty dark. So I'm going to go right here, put a little cobalt blue in my green mixture. Yeah, like that. So just towards the edge. In the center of the shadow, it's a little darker. Just, I mean, not a ton, but, I mean lighter, sorry. And don't do it like a line, like all the way across. Hit certain areas and then certain areas, let it go. There we go. All right, cool. Now we are going to put the light on the trees. Then we're going to do some light in the sky. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to add yellow to the sky. I'm not doing it right now, but we will. And you're gonna go, what the heck? That dude just put yellow. I remember seeing a painting, it was a Sargent painting. He had huge, giant chunks of yellow in the sky. And by the way, it was a blue sky. It wasn't like some sorry little dude. I just killed a bug on my thing. I feel bad every now and then when I do that. Not for long, but anyway. Yeah, but he had big chunks of yellow. I could not believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, check this out. And there's things that just don't pick up on you know, a photograph that you see in a book or a magazine. Okay, so now we are going to put the light in, okay, on these big trees. Remember I told you, move it around, move it around. Don't be afraid, just do it. Oh yeah, this is... And be careful you don't go too light. It's still an upright. This is the stuff I used to not be patient for. I was like, gotta do it now. And then I'd lose control of the painting. And it's always better when I said don't go too dark, or I'm sorry, too light, because it's still an upright. A good way to remedy that is just start out darker than what you think it's going to be. And then if you need to adjust it, go ahead and adjust it, you know what I'm saying? Down here is really cool color. That. The little sprouts, they have a different green on them. It's very, very potent. So I don't feel a huge need to do a whole bunch more. Meaning this would be enough information for me. I am going to go a little lighter now. When I say a little, just a little, up at the top of the trees. The base of the tree is going to be a little bit darker in this case because they appear to be further from the light. And so up above just seems a little bit, just slightly. And by the way, you have to be cognizant of those little things because those are not as, there we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like that better. Right there. And you can put in more sky holes. Just be careful with the sky holes that you don't go crazy. You could put another tree in. You can do basically whatever you want right now. And again, remember, coming out and doing this stuff is just a practice, okay? At least for me. If it's for you, it's getting a masterpiece. By the way, we'll record one where we come out and we do, you know, a really, you know, a larger one. Maybe even possibly finish it out here. I don't like to do that. That's my preference. But I'm gonna put in a few more sky holes. Just remember, the problem with sky holes is you can really go overboard. Okay, last thing is just, remember my famous last thing? Last thing, I'm just gonna put a little bit of yellow in the sky, down low, right here. Believe it or not, that sun is pretty, whoa. It's pretty warm in color, not just in, when you're sitting out in the sun. Sweet. And then this is gonna sound crazy to you, but you take a little violet too. I mean, I'm talking smidge. Like that's way too much. Right there. And you mix it with that yellow. Just a little bit right there. Sweetness, I think for at least right now, I'm done. Could go in and mess around with it for a while. I usually don't, because like I said, I'm more of a, I like to come out and just learn. So I'll look at them for a moment and go, wow, I like that, I don't like that. Some of them I throw away. And actually that's rare. But I don't sell them. People will ask to buy them all the time, and I don't, because they're, you know, when I'm doing a painting inside and I have this question, I actually go search these out sometimes and go, huh, what about that? I did that on here, and that's similar to what I'm doing. And so it becomes a really, really good reference. Really good reference. All right, I think that is good for today. Nice, simple painting, nothing intense. I'm not going for, you know, oh, this has to be the most grandiose masterpiece in the world. I'm learning how to do this, okay? I'm looking at nature, okay? And let's go over just really quick what we did. First, do the shapes, flat. Try to get the correct value, that's lightness or darkness. Then try to get the correct color that you're seeing. And then once that's all two-dimensional, flat, 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 again, just flat, flat, flat. Then go, okay, and make that switch in your head and go, okay, three-dimensional now. Then start putting in, modeling the form, okay? So, very cool. We'll talk to you later. Go out, do some painting, have some fun. We'll see ya. Sweet, we just finished a sweet little study. That's what it's all about, just going out and doing a little study like that, just learning, practicing, learning what's out there, what it looks like visually. Nice morning, absolutely beautiful, and we're gonna get at it again here in a couple of days and find some exciting stuff. It's all over, man. Just remember that, it's all over. Even in urban areas, you know, I see lots of people do the urban paintings, and it's, you know, you don't have to be out in the country per se, and just wherever you are, just look, be observant, just find those things that are absolutely so beautiful, and if you look, if you really, really look, you'll find it all over the place, and go, wow. And most of it, by the way, is the effect of light hitting it. Okay, when light hits things, it's just magical. It does some fascinating things, and really, really enhances our lives. All this beautiful stuff. But sweet. Now we probably ought to go fishing, don't you think? Yeah. Sweet. We're gonna hit the river, do some fishing, and maybe do a painting while we're out there. Sound good? All right, cool. That's what I thought. All right, talk to you later.